So it's been established in my videos that I think Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man. But that doesn't mean I dislike Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I think I enjoy them both for the most part. But in this video, I want to explore what makes each of them click. And in the end, we're going to compare Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and see which Spider-Man I think is better and why. Now, for those of you who have been keeping up with the videos, you might know the answer to this already, but I think it's worth watching to explore why I think each one does better in certain areas and what that might reveal about each performance and iteration of Spider-Man. If you're new to the channel, well, welcome. It'll be a surprise to you maybe who I think is the best Spider-Man, and make sure to subscribe, join the Access Blockbusters crew, give this video a like, and we are right in the middle of the season of Spider-Man, so make sure to stick around for all of that. Leading up to Spider-Man No Way Home, and without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I will be judging them on 5 different categories that will be revealed as we go along, but just know that basically based on the categories that I give, it could just be a toss-up between the two. It's basically me just trying to frame these two characters and these two performances in a way that I think is important with these 5 categories, but really, you could use any categories that you want. So, first up, likability. Who do I think is the more likable Spider-Man? Well, to me, obviously I think Tom Holland's the best, but between these two, I think it's pretty clear. It's Tobey Maguire. Because here's the thing. I think throughout most of The Amazing Spider-Man, if not all of it, Andrew Garfield is thoroughly unlikable. He is a jerk to Aunt May and Uncle Ben. He's a jerk to basically everybody not named Gwen Stacy. He's a jerk to criminals he beats up, which yes, they're criminals, but he is still just so mean to everybody. It's kind of crazy. In The Amazing Spider-Man 2, he's a little better, sure, but he's just kind of weird and awkward and trying to be, I don't know, just so weird about it all. At least Tobey Maguire is kind of dopey sometimes, but he's still plain and simple pure. He's a pure hero. Like, there's not much to dislike about Peter Parker, at least until he gets the symbiote in Spider-Man 3. So for that, I will give the likability factor to Tobey Maguire. Alright, round 2. We're going to be looking at chemistry with the love interests. And I think this is pretty clear. This one goes to Andrew Garfield. And look, not that I hate Kirsten Dunst in the role of Mary Jane Watson, not that I hate Tobey Maguire in the role of Peter Parker, I just don't think they have much chemistry with each other at all. I think we only believe in it because it's Mary Jane Watson and it's Peter Parker. Versus, at least, even though the motivations for them getting together are suspect at best, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone have great chemistry. And again, like I've said in my reviews, in the first film, I don't understand how they fall for each other, or at least how Gwen Stacy falls for Peter Parker. And in the second film, they have scenes with them together that just go on for way too long. That being said, the chemistry and believability of them as a couple is so much stronger that by the time, spoiler alert, that Gwen Stacy dies in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it's just believable. You believe Peter's hurt. You believe Peter's pain. If Mary Jane Watson were to be killed in that franchise, I don't know if it would have the same emotional resonance as it did with Gwen Stacy and Andrew Garfield. So this one goes to Andrew Garfield. The third category up is acting. And, well, let's take a look at it. So Tobey Maguire, I think, is a okay actor. And in terms of Spider-Man, I just think he is okay. He is kind of one note and wooden, and he has that sort of angel face that you kind of believe in as Peter Parker of, he's just the nice kid. He's the nice kid you would believe could be a superhero. Andrew Garfield, on the other hand, is this creepy, weird New York kid who, I don't know, stalks Gwen Stacy. But those are the characters, right? And if you're going just based on acting, well, Tobey Maguire does a fine job, and he is likable enough. Whereas Andrew Garfield, I think, is at least going for something. That something is not something that I like, but that's not something I can really fault Andrew Garfield for. I think clearly he is going for something. And so in that respect, I think I would have to call it a tie. I think both of them are doing what they were told and doing both in a pretty decent manner. I like Tobey Maguire's acting choices more, but I also can see that Andrew Garfield is trying harder. And so for that, I think I'm going to call it a tie between the two for acting. Round 4. Who's the best Peter Parker? Oh, that one's easy. It's Tobey Maguire. Like I said, Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker is weird, he is creepy, he is a jerk, he is so arrogant that it just baffles me that people actually enjoy this character. Again, if you're one of them, not saying, not calling you out, not doing anything like that, but I am saying that I just don't quite understand because I can't get behind this Peter Parker. And again, don't misconstrue my words. If Andrew Garfield shows up in Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm not going to be upset because I know that Andrew Garfield is a world-class talent. And I know that with a different director and a different direction, I think he would be absolutely great. Just in these two films that I see him in, oh boy, his Peter Parker is just not great. Tobey Maguire, I don't think is perfect as Peter Parker, but he sells it to me. He sells it enough that he is a struggling kid who goes through high school, goes through college, and is trying to find his place in the world, and all of a sudden is burdened with these powers, while on top of trying to lead a normal life as a photographer with a Daily Bugle. And that I can buy into. I definitely can buy into that. Versus this weird, creepy Andrew Garfield, I just don't know. Now, the final category that we're going to go into is action and visuals. And I know this is less of the actors themselves, but still, I think it's a part, big enough part at least, enough of these characters of Peter Parker and Spider-Man that I think it's worth talking about. So, who do I think just feels more like Spider-Man when I watch him on screen? Honestly, and I think this is a testament more to when the film was made in 2012 and 2014 versus 2002, 2004, and 2007, that I think Andrew Garfield visually, sans the Amazing Spider-Man weird dark lens Spider-Man costume, is just a better looking Spider-Man in terms of the way he moves, the way he swings around, the way the action is. I think the action is just much better. Obviously, having Spider-Man made almost 20 years ago doesn't really help it, and I still think it holds up incredibly well. But at the end of the day, when I'm just watching the film and not even paying attention to the motivation of the characters or the character arcs or the performances and just looking at Spider-Man, I think that Andrew Garfield, especially in the second film, just looks more like Spider-Man, just moves more like Spider-Man, and is just more of a Spider-Man iteration that I can buy into than Tobey Maguire. No fault of his own, mind you. But I just think that he's more of a Spider-Man to me. I think that Tobey Maguire's costumes are a little cooler, sure, but I don't think that's big enough of a factor for me to really consider that. So at the end of the day, I've given 2 to each, and I've tied once. Obviously, I've construed the categories to make it so, but if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll know who the winner is. I think that Tobey Maguire is by far a better Spider-Man and Peter Parker than Andrew Garfield. Again, like I've said, Andrew Garfield is a fantastic actor. He really is. But I don't think that he was given the material, the writing, and the character work to be able to pull off a truly compelling version of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I just think that he was hamstrung with the amount of character work that Mark Webb wanted to do, which honestly I don't think was that great, whereas Tobey Maguire was just allowed to be free. He was allowed to be a Peter Parker that was awkward, that was nerdy, that was basically all the cliches and baselines of Peter Parker, but still managed to make that work, and for that, I can applaud him. So, yes, if you guys have been paying attention to this series of Season of Spider-Man, you'll know that my rankings of the Spider-Man, Tom Holland by far and away, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield. What do you guys think of this? Let me know in the comments down below. Where do you think that Andrew Garfield is better than Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire? Let me know in the comments. And also, if you think vice versa, Tobey Maguire is better than Tom Holland, let me know as well. If you like this video, then make sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and check out some more videos on the screen right now. We are still in the season of Spider-Man, so stay tuned for more content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.